This is Reverend Brandon Price, and I just was reflecting on this change of the year as we exited 2020 and now are moving forward in 2021, that I've seen a lot of people were really optimistic and hopeful and really was exhibiting a faith in the new year itself, that they believed that because of the calendar changing, that automatically meant that this was going to be a new year. And I began to question, what if 2021 looks a lot like 2020? What if the pandemic continues? What if the financial situation doesn't improve? What if police violence continues to be directed towards black and brown populations? What if the change in political leadership doesn't lead to a change in the direction of this country? What if many of the things that we despised 2024 continued into 2021? Would we as people of God continue to move forward and continue to pursue the things that God has purposed for us? And so in lieu of that, I began to really want to come on and to challenge the people of God to not have faith in the changing of a year, but to have faith in the one that is able to change all things, to make all things new. And we know that it's in our faith in Jesus Christ that we believe that God is able to do all things for us. And so I just wanted to challenge us on today that we would flourish this year, no matter how dim or how dark things appear to be in this season, no matter what's going on in the world exterior. God is calling us as people of God and as the sons and daughters of the Most High God to continue to flourish and continue to thrive and continue to pursue the things that God is calling us to in this season. Because if God has given us vision for things for us professionally and in our relationships and in our ministries, if God has given us vision for them, then it means that God has also made provision for them as well. And I know that with some ministries and with some people, some of the vision and some of the things that God was calling you to, you put on hold, waiting for things to go back to normal. We all thought that this would only last for a few months and that we would be able to do business as usual. And we find out that that's not the case. And what if that prolongs into the year? I know there's a vaccine, but let's say that the results are not what we anticipate them to be. And the world in and of itself continues in the financial and health insecurities that we've experienced in 2020. Would we be able to, as people of God, to continue to move forward? And so as I began to really think about that, God brought it to my attention to look up plants that do well in dim and dark light. And so as I was looking and doing my research, I came across an article where there was numerous plants that actually do well in dimly lit and in darker conditions. These plants don't do well with direct sunlight. And I said, well, if God can create plants that do well in dim lit and can do well in darker conditions, then what God is saying is that growth can happen even in dim situations, that even in the midst of darkness, that we could still flourish, that we can still thrive, that we can still be productive, that we can still bear fruit, that we can still bloom and blossom and be who and what God is calling us to be, even in the midst of this season. And so I want to encourage us to not put faith in the new year, but to put faith in the one that is able to make all things new. And we know that is Jesus Christ. And so I want to challenge you that even if the world continues to be a dim and a dark place, even if things continue to be uncertain and negative all around you, you are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. You are the people of God that God is putting on display in times like this. And God is not expecting us to be depressed. God is not expecting us to be downcast. God is not expecting us to experience despair. But I believe that even in the midst of this situation, as in nature, as there are plants that do well in dimly lit situations, you and I can be those ones that do well. You and I can be those ones whose families flourish, whose finances flourish, whose businesses flourish, who do well health wise, who do well in our relationships, whose mental health stays intact, or even if things go awry, you and I are the ones who can be rejuvenated and be revived and be able to thrive in these situations. And so I just want to challenge us on today that even if 2021 looks the same way that 2020 did, even if the change in political leadership does not lead to legislative change and a change in policy, even if race relations doesn't improve, even if the virus is still here, even if the vaccines don't do what we intend for them to do, even if there's uncertainty financially and people continue to lose their jobs, I just want to know if you will be the people that will seek God to flourish, to seek God to prosper, to seek God to do new things, even in those kinds of situations. And so I just wanted to encourage you to have faith in the God that makes all things new, not in the new year in and of itself, but to trust God enough, to believe God enough, to not put things on hold until they get better, to not put things on hold until the brighter days that we all look forward to, but to flourish and to prosper and to be positive, productive, and fruitful, even in the midst of some dim and dark times. And so I want to encourage and I want to challenge you to be encouraged, to pursue God, to pursue what it is that God is calling you to. Because if He has given you vision for it, then that means He has made provision for it. And so you should be encouraged, you should be uplifted, and you should pursue God in every way you can. You should pursue ministry. You should pursue ministry. You should pursue health and wholeness in your relationships with your family, with your friends. I'm just believing that even in a season like this, that God is able to do something, not just to test our faith, but as a testimony to the world that God is able to prosper us. God is able to deliver us even in the midst of the darkest times. And so I just want to challenge you to make 2020 the year that God intended it to be, even when it looks like there's despair and there's destruction all around you. Be determined to be all that God created you to be in 2021. God bless you and have a great year.